передати слово пану Мартіну Хагстрьому, надзвичайному повноважному послу Швеції в Україні. Будь ласка.
Thank you very much. Dear Minister, dear participants and organizers, thank you very much for organizing this conference on such an essential subject with so many different stakeholders. And I'm very impressed and very happy to see so many of these stakeholders present here today. And I believe, Mr. Minister, that you have a very difficult task clearly in this area, because I think environmental governance is particularly difficult in an area where there are so many different stakeholders and where you need all of these stakeholders actually on board to get the results that you want. You need state level, central level, regional level, state structures, you need municipalities, you need civil society, and actually you do need each and every citizen to be involved in this to get the results on environmental protection that you would like to see. And I also think it's important to have this conference at this point. It's even more topical probably than when you planned it, because just wanted to mention this. Of course, Sweden, together with other international partners of Ukraine, very much welcome the adoption of the laws on environmental impact assessment in the RADA quite recently. And we have now learned that they have been vetoed, and of course we continue to follow these issues very closely, and I'm sure this will also be discussed here during this conference, how this can be further developed at this point. So I mentioned that there are so many different stakeholders, including the citizens, and I think that it's important and essential that the environmental governance enables citizens to make the right choices. If you excuse me, I will just give a short personal example. I've lived in Kiev now for 2 months. I'm quite new here. And one of the things, I really like it here, I should say first of all, but one of the really difficult things for me here has been the fact that, at least as far as I have noticed, it's very difficult to sort your garbage. For me, this is something it's really part of something you do every day. If you have some garbage, you will sort it. And I know from my colleagues also in the embassy, from some other embassies that I talked to, that this is something that it's really tough to change, to put all garbage in one can when you're used to putting it in different ones. It feels wrong. And I think this is also part of this education, the infrastructure, and the way that it's important to make it possible for citizens, for people to make the right choices and be part of the environmental protection. To tell you the truth, I'm actually still sorting some of my garbage. For example, batteries. I can't make myself throw them away in the garbage. I don't know what I will do with them. Maybe I will have to take them back to Sweden, or otherwise I do hope that the infrastructure will develop here also in that area. For Sweden, environmental protection and not least climate change that you mentioned also, Minister, are really essential national policies. These are our top priorities for the government, also top priorities for citizens. And they are also top priorities in our international cooperation, and not least with Ukraine, where we are close partners on energy efficiency, we work on sustainable infrastructure, and also on regulatory development. We would be very happy to do more in this area, not least on environmental government, the topic of today's talk, but also, for example, an issue like garbage that I mentioned as something that I have personally noticed to be an area where I think that there are things that we could learn from each other. Our current reform cooperation strategy with Ukraine is running until 2020, the Swedish one, bilateral one, and we support projects in different areas each year for around 20 to 25 million euros. And 1/3 of that goes to environmental projects in the areas that I mentioned. And again, we would be happy to do more, because this is an important area for us. So we work with international partners, with the Nordic Environmental Financing Corporation, with European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, with the World Bank. As important as that, I would say, is our support and cooperation with civil society organizations like the organizer of today's event, Mama 86, and the Environment People Law NGO that we are also working with. Another important area that was mentioned here is the issue of decentralization. I think this is also really important in the field of environmental protection, because usually the closer you are to an environmental problem, the stronger the focus is on it. And I think it will be an important step, this decentralization, that we are also working on very closely. So we are ready to share experiences. We are ready to deepen cooperation and cooperate more profoundly both with civil society organizations and the Ukrainian government, and not least on the basis of the association agreement, promoting EU approximation in this area. And I do hope that this conference will be an important step in that direction. Thank you.
Дякую, пане посол. Я думаю, для всіх дуже важливо чути, усвідомлювати, наскільки народ Швеції, уряд Швеції підтримують зусилля України у реформуванні системи екологічного врядування і екологічної реформи загалом, і наближення наших екологічних стандартів до цивілізованих. Це репліка стосовно того, що ви казали про сміття, що вас найбільше вразило.